Hello everyone, we are back on the third lesson on flowers, where this time we're going to work on some more complicated flowers. We are going to work on transparency, especially when it comes to the petals, where the challenge is going to be managing to keep the bottom petal visible underneath the one that's on the top. I hope you have a lot of fun with the flowers from the last week and all the other lessons before that. I've seen so many beautiful things posted on the group. Thank you so much for keeping it alive. It's really beyond anything I could have hoped for. So we are going to start this lesson the same way as always by taping our paper to the board with the same tip as always. Don't hesitate to make some little marks. So let me go back to tape for a moment. Often when people ask me, I actually buy the cheapest one. There is a brand I like, it's Tesa. I don't know if you can see it, it's this one. The difference between a star brand tape and a tape like Tesa, for example, is obviously going to be how well it sticks. And it's true that with watercolor paper, brand name tapes stick a lot more firmly to your paper, and so it warps a little less. The star brand one works fine, the Tesa works too, but be careful, sometimes there are tapes that are really too strong. Like I was telling you, it's true for this tape, for the quality of paper I have you working with, meaning the rough grain paper from Arch. I know there are some other textures at Arch, like the hot press and the smooth textures, and they are a bit more fragile. I've had students that tell me to be careful since they had already torn the paper. It's true that the rough grain, like this one, is more rugged, that's why it's less prone to tearing. And as usual, then, we go ahead and press down firmly on the tape. Don't hesitate to press down firmly to keep the paint from seeping underneath. So we're off and we're going to work on transparency. I'm going to start this exercise with a green glacier. So this is a granulating watercolor that I haven't had you test yet. You see, it's pretty strong. From time to time you can run into opacity issues if you don't have enough water. That's why I always tell you, especially with this exercise, to use up some space on your palette. When I make a wash, I'm really spreading it out. I go check it out, and here, I don't know if you can see it on the screen, but when I do this you can tell it's really a granulating color, since we've got both a blue and a red at the same time. So if I put this watercolor on my paper, we will get the two colors separating. Like I explained to you, the heavier pigments will settle into the bottom of the texture and the lighter ones will stay on the surface. And we have to paint a flower. This one's a bit like the cosmos flower, so I've put some example here for you. So we're going to have petals that overlap a lot more, but we're working on exactly the same principle as the cosmos flower. We're going to try for 4 petals, which is easier to space out, I would say. Then we're going to try to arrange things so the next 4 petals on the second layer can overlap the first 2 while still keeping the transparency. So let's go. Just one more tip. Make big flowers. This is generally the beginner's problem. You make things that are small, that are tiny, because you are afraid of ruining your paper. But the smaller you draw, the harder it is. It's a bit like miniatures. It's really hard to get a nice detail and you have less room to have fun. I really encourage you to make a big flower. So here I've got a big paper and I think it's going to take up almost the whole paper. So exactly like the cosmos flower, we're going to draw our arc. We are going to draw a petal, but this time we're going to make it a bit rounder, like this. There, we're using up some space, you see. I'm still using my zero brush, but this time, you see, it takes me more time to go all the way around the flower. And right away I rewet my edges. There, like this. I'm going to mix in maybe a bit of violet to lean a bit more into the violet color of this granulating paint. I'm going to add a bit of turquoise to it. So here you see I didn't clean my brush well. That's why I don't have a true turquoise. I didn't go all the way down to really tap it out and rinse my brush well. This was actually on purpose. I want to keep the green glacier as an undercoat. Same as always, when I want to keep a bit of color, I just go to the surface and swirl my brush a bit. That removes the excess, but there is still some paint left in the brush. And I'm going to grab some cobalt blue. I'm going to mix it with my previous mix. And then I'm going to go ahead and finish my little petal. At this stage, it's a little less serious if it's a bit dark. The idea is still to stay a bit transparent.